Hey guys, so most of you probably already know this, but every year BookOutlet has a Boxing Day sale the day after Christmas, and I don't remember if they do this every year, but this year they had it going on for several days. I think they usually do that, but this year they had it going on for several days, and in the last like 10 hours of the sale, I decided to go in there and look to see if they had anything that I wanted, and lo and behold, not too long later, I had a cart filled with stuff that I wanted. And a few of the books in here are for Giselle. They're Giselle's. And between the two of us, we got quite a few books. It was just too good to pass up. And the sale was really awesome. And just some of it was like, if we got a certain amount of extra books, if we added a certain amount of extra books to the order, it would cost a very minuscule amount to add those books, just because of the way they had the sale set up. And one of the books, I added it to the cart, and it costs less to get the book than to not to get the book. So several of the books I kind of feel like we got basically for free, but I'm not going to show you the books that are for Giselle, but I'll show you all the ones that are for me in here. I would just do a little full unboxing on here. I kind of wish they had, I guess the box is too big and they don't have boxes big enough to have the BookOutlet logo on here, but this is like the first box from BookOutlet that I've ever gotten that doesn't actually have the BookOutlet logo on it. Alright, so if you watched my series to read and finish in 2017, you know that I'm a sucker for buying whole series at a time and just kind of collecting as many books as I can in a series before I actually start reading it so that I can read them all back to back later on. So there's quite a that going on in here. Just went ahead and pulled out some of the books that were for Giselle in here so I could skip right to the ones that I wanted to show you. And the first one in here is not, well, it is a part of a series, but they didn't have the other book in the series, so I just got this one. It is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. And I actually don't know very much about this other than that it's from the Dandelion Dynasty series or trilogy, and that there's 2 books out so far. And I really like Ken Liu's translation of the Cixin Liu books, The Three Body Problem and Death's End. I feel like he did a really good job of it, and I'm sure a lot of his sensibilities came through, even though it was just like a translation. So I'm excited to see what his writing is actually like, because I've never actually read anything just from his own mind. So I'm excited to see what he came up with this. I've seen people talk about this and say good things about it. I don't know when the 3rd book comes out, but I would love to read this and then get to the 2nd one, and then whenever the 3rd one comes out, I could read that too. Next in here is a trilogy that I had all of them in hardcover, and I wanted them all, so I just went ahead and got them all. And they're by Elizabeth Bear. And the first one is called Range of Ghosts. I love that cover. Second one is called Shattered Pillars. Also, amazing cover. And Steals of the Sky. And I don't know that much about these. I'm going to be completely honest. All I know is that I really want to read some Elizabeth Bear. I've heard quite a bit about her, and I did get one of her other books from a used bookstore, but I would love to read these possibly sometime this year, maybe add it to that list of series that I want to read. We'll see how that goes, though. I just know that these are fantasy, very original fantasy. She has some very original ideas that I've heard, and of this specific trilogy I've heard good things about, so I'm going to give these a shot, and hopefully really like her writing, because I know she's written quite a few books that sound really interesting. Michael from Bitten by a Radioactive Book. If people remember him, I hope you do, because he's amazing. He just hasn't been here in a while. He did a whole video about her, and ever since that video, I've been really wanting to get my hands on more of her work. And the next thing in here is, so another thing I said in my series to read and finish video is that I tend to get books in a series even if I can't find the first one right away. So this is the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th book in I think there's only 4 books in the series. Like, I don't think there's going to be any more. I'm pretty sure it's just a 4-book series. And they didn't have the first one on BookOutlet, which was unfortunate, because I would really love to read these. I've been wanting to read these ever since I heard about them as well. I just love the I'm getting distracted. The name of another author whose full series I just got is on the back of this, and it kind of distracted me. Anyway, so these are by D.B. Jackson, and this is the Thief Taker series. The first book is called Thief Taker, and the second one is called Thieves' Quarry, and the 3rd one is called A Plunder of Souls, and 4th one is called Dead Man's Reach. I love these covers so much. That's what originally drew me to them, and then I started hearing people talk about them, and they're like Revolutionary War fantasy. Revolutionary War with magic, and I love these covers. They just kind of draw me in a lot. They remind me of like a pirate, and I guess I don't know if that's what a thief taker is exactly, or if that's just like the person who can kind of like use the magic in this alternate fantasy history. But I'm really excited to read these, and they're not very long. I actually thought they were longer. I thought they were thicker. They're not very long. And this is another little series that I would love to get to this year if I can only get the first book, which hopefully will happen soon enough. Believe me, I know how ridiculous it is to buy all these series when I haven't read any of them, and sometimes like that instance when I don't even have the first book. I know it's crazy, but I am crazy, so it works. And so this one is Shades of Milk and Honey. This is the Glamorous Histories, all in the same edition. The entire series by Mary Robinette Kowal. This is the author. She had a blurb on the back of one of those Thief Taker books, and it distracted me. It was like Mary Robinette Kowal, who wrote Shades of Milk and Honey. And so this is the whole series. I think the last one in the series just came out like last year or something, or the year before that. So I'm really happy that they had all 5 of them. And I read Ghost Talkers by Mary Robinette Kowal this past year in 2016 because it came out in around August, and I loved it. I thought it was really good. I mean, it had its flaws, but in general, I just really liked her writing, and she's also one of the hosts on Writing Excuses with Brandon Sanderson and Dan Wells and Howard Taylor. And I've been trying to read more Dan Wells. I read 2 of his books at the end of last year in December, and I plan on reading many more this year, probably the rest of his work this year. And I would love to read the rest of her work as well. So without further ado, here's Shades of Milk and Honey and Glamour and Glass, Without a Summer, Valor and Vanity, and Of Noble Family. Here, I'll cycle through those again just so you can see them. I really actually like these covers. I usually don't like covers with this kind of design and with photographs on them, but I think these actually go together really well. And I'm happy to have them, and I'm happy to read more of her work because I just like her as a person now. So I'm not going to be crazy and claim that I'm going to finish that entire series this year, but I would love to at least start. I would love to at least read the first book this year, and I'll have the rest for next year. I mean, like I said, some of these things are just too good to pass up right now because you never know when they're going to show up again for that cheap, like $1 each, maybe, or less. So anyway, so the next thing is a science fiction book that I looked up specifically because I saw it on BookOutlet. I was looking at their science fiction section, and this just seemed really intriguing. It's called Lockstep by Carl Schroeder. This is about this guy who apparently fell asleep for like thousands of years, and then when he wakes up, he realizes that he's now in a new society that kind of thrives on hibernation. And lots of people just go hibernating all the time. They live for a very long time like he has now. He wakes up very far in the future. His brother is like a dictator or something, or like a tyrant in the society now. And it just sounded really interesting. And I'm going to give it a shot and see what I think. It's not that long, and I think it's a standalone. And then this last book, this is the last book that I got for myself. This is one of the only Brandon Sanderson books that I don't own. And it is Shadows of Self. I've actually read it. I've read all of the Mistborn books. And I don't have this edition of Alloy of Law. I have from Mistborn, the first Mistborn trilogy, all of those through Alloy of Law in the UK editions. You can see them right there. And then I have Bands of Mourning in the American edition like this one, but I needed Shadows of Self in one of the other editions. And eventually I'm going to have all of them in all of the editions because I love Brandon Sanderson and because I'm crazy. But I'm only going to get them like secondhand whenever they come across to me. But this was super cheap, and it was basically free the way it worked out. If this is the book that I added to my cart last minute, was like, if I don't get this book, it will cost me more than if I do get it. Just the way with the coupon thing was working out on BookOutlet. I'm just going to go ahead and put that right here, right where it belongs. There we go. Perfect. And that's it. That's everything that I got for myself. And then Giselle got a few books for herself that she'll be hauling on her channel. But these two... we have a lot of this author's work, and I've started reading some of her work, and so is Giselle, and I'll be reading more of her work this year. But she got 2 Mercedes Lackey books, Blood Red and A Natural Issue. These are both Elemental Masters books in her Elemental Masters series. So we have a very large Mercedes Lackey collection, and we both plan on reading all of them at some point. But I wasn't going to get these for myself, but then I was like, Giselle, there's a BookOutlet sale. And she went on there and added some more stuff, and she decided to get these, which I'm very happy about, because now I have more Mercedes Lackey to read at some point. She writes way too much to ever say that I feel like I'm ever going to catch up with her work, but maybe in a couple years I'll have read a decent chunk of her work. So anyway, that's it. That's everything I wanted to show you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've read any of this stuff that I showed today, I would love to hear your thoughts on them, especially like the Thief Taker series. Because I have heard mixed things about that too, but like it's just way too intriguing of an idea for me to pass up. And yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on all this stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later with more.